Habari ya jioni wa Kenya wenzetu. Leo tuko hapa kwa studio na marafiki zangu, nasema pia mandugu zangu ambao tunataka kujadili tu mambo inayohusu nchi yetu. Wacha nichukue hii fursa niwakaribishe nyinyi nyote katika kipindi. Tena nafurahia kufanya kipindi na mimi. Mako Bura, karibu sana.
Hali gani wenzangu?
Mi niko salama salmini.
You started it. Anyway, good evening to our viewers. As usual, we are inviting them to this discussion, and I also want to remind them that anyone who wants to join the studio or the conversation, we've shared the link. They can join via that link and also be part of the conversation.
Asante sana Miguda, habari ya leo?
Niko salama sana ndugu yangu brother Benson.
Hali yako iko vipi?
Hali yangu iko shwari kabisa.
Okay, nashukuru sana. Mi pia naona Mungu amenijalia maisha mzuri na afya. Mi nimefurahia leo nataka kufanya kipindi na nyinyi. Okay, to our viewers, thank you so much, my brothers, for coming in as we want to weigh our option of what is happening today. Today is something that has really surprised me. We want to weigh option on it, as also we look at how can the protest on the street by the Gen Z can translate to power or political influence. That is something that is very, very important. But something here that happened, this is what the president said today. I quote, "Hakuna haja ya kuleta fujo, tupatane 2027. President Ruto to Gen Z protesters." What is your take on that?
I think the first thing I would say is to remind the president that Chapter 1 says that the power belongs to the people.
Yes.
And the people has the authority to do whatever they want with the power. It is good that he has recognized the fact that he's going to meet the people come 2027 in the coming general election. But we also want to remind him that with the kind of leadership that he's trying to portray,
yes,
he might not get to 2027 when he's still in that position. So unless he changes his tactic, his way of leadership, the Gen Zs might get him out of that office as soon as they can. So let him not start telling us issues to do with 2027. The constitution is clear, and when he was campaigning, he came clear and he shared with us the things that he wanted to do for the people of Kenya, and we still have his manifesto. Most of times we can get back to it and refer, but up to this extent, there's nothing that we've seen the current president William Samoei Ruto having done positively in the Republic of Kenya to ensure that it changes positively the lives of the people of Kenya. So
thank you so much. Okay.
In his statement, Hakuna Haja ya kuleta fujo, we are telling him that sisi hatuleti fujo, we are just angry because he's not, under his leadership, we are not seeing any fruitful engagement, fruitful delivery of the things that he promised to the people of Kenya.
Thank you so much. Miguda, what do you say on what President said today, Hakuna haja ya kuleta fujo, tupatane 2027?
Okay, real quick. First, I would like to acknowledge the fact that the Gen Zs do not have a leader. But you know, Gen Z is just a beginning. They have just started. And hopefully it's a gradual, it's gradually developing. So we are still establishing some fundamentals, rules for the movement. And I believe that as naturally leaders will emerge, definitely at the right time, because we can't have leaders immediately. With time, leaders will emerge and will form a formidable political formation that will send people home. So to come to Mr. President William Ruto, clearly he has indicated and he has drawn the battle line that is fighting back.
Yeah.
And we are very happy because he has admitted that he's fighting back. But to my surprise, Mr. Ruto is only having one vote. Gen Zs have millions of votes. So you are saying Tupatane kwa debe against millions of voters. We are telling Mr. President, welcome to the game. We are ready to engage you in the ballot come 2027 with our millions of votes.
Okay, maybe the courage from the president might be informed that because now we see and we tend to know or to think that they are together with the prime minister, so he knows this backup power or the political elite are combining forces together against the generation. So that one could also inform his decision, that bold self, to say that, okay, let's meet on 2027. Can that one also play a part?
Whether it comes with all current politicians, this time around it's not going to work. He's meeting a dedicated group of youths, not just youths of the Republic of Kenya, hata wazee, wamama, the people that he used to refer to Mama Mboga, they have rejected him. Watu wa boda boda have rejected him. All these people have come to go together and they're saying this time around we are no longer going to follow the tribal lines. Whether you are a Kikuyu, Kalenjin, Luo, Kamba, whichever. This time around we're not going to look into those. The main goal, the main reason why this time around people are getting together is to ensure that they get out those leaders who have been messing up their life, those leaders who get there to enrich themselves, those leaders who get there and then they become, they start speaking with some pride. That they start addressing the voters as if voters are from some minor people. This time around, we are going to remind them that the tribal cocoon that they've been forming and coming up with to try separate the people of Kenya, we're not going to bow down to that. We are a focused group of people. There is a group of Kenyans who knows what we want. We know our rights. We know where the problems that we are going through came from. They started with the politicians, and most of them, majority of them are still in power. We want to remind them that this time round, whether they come with money to bribe us, you're not going to allow them, because we're a focused group of Kenyans who want to ensure that the lost glory of the Republic of Kenya is brought back. The pride of Africa, as it has been known that Kenya is the pride of Africa, we want to bring that lost glory. And for sure, with this movement, we will ensure that Kenya becomes the pride of Africa.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Before I bring in Miguda, so that he can also give us his thought on this, because we're just trying to look at how will the movement that has been started by Gen Z will move to get that political influence or the political power. So because we saw the power that was on the street, and how can that power be translated to a political power or a political influence? And this one brings me to the story. I know you know what happened in 2018. This was in France, when we have the Yellow Jackets movement, or the Yellow Vest movement. If you look at very keenly what necessitated the people of France to go to the street, among other things, were high cost of fuel, cost of living, and Macron had to back down and adhere to their demands, what they wanted. But along the way, the movement died off. So we are looking, and we just to look at as people also who participated in this maandamano. How are you going to maintain the momentum? How are you going to take that street power to a political power and a political influence, bearing in mind that President had also reminded you that Tupatane 2027, Miguda, how is that one going to work?
I think I believe in possibility, and from my own observation, people might misunderstood what is going on. The solidarity, what is informing the solidarity of this movement is organic. It is not mechanical. No, solidarity can be formed through mechanically or organically, but this one is organic.
Yes.
And the crowds of Gen Z, these are not Raila's crowds. Because first, even me, I'm not a member of ODM. or I don't subscribe to Azimio or Kenya Kwanza, but I'm in the Gen Z crowd. So this crowd does not belong to Raila. So by Mr. President purporting to negotiate with Mr. Odinga so that he can secure peace to run the country, that is null and void. Why am I saying so? The Odinga crowd are not even in the Mandamano. We have been seeing them in Jacaranda. They are criticizing Gen Zs. So this crowd does not belong to anybody. So if you think by negotiating with Odinga, you'll calm the crowd down, I'm very much sorry. But let me say this. Mr. Odinga has back off. You see, he has written on the Twitter that I don't want handshake. I've heard what the young people are saying. I'm not with the Kalonzo Musyoka has also back off. So the issue of France, if you want to bring it to Kenyan issue, Kenyan issue, if you can have the pulse of the people, of the nation, the mood of the ground, this is a revolution. And that's why I told you that Mr. President has also learned, because he's a political professor, he knows that this is a revolution. That's why he is drawing battle line, that Tupatane kwa debe, hatutaki fujo. So he's trying to pretend that doesn't want protest, because the protest will take him home. Either protest or kwa debe, there's no way you will convince me with my fellas that Ruto will be a two-term president. Either way. Furthermore, currently, the decision makers, the political decision makers in this country are the Gen Zs. We are the people informing our parents, vote for this guy, don't vote for this guy. It's not the other way around that our parents informing us. We'll inform each and every person. Furthermore, the Gen Zs are in all sectors, profession, non-professions. So going forward, actually, we are organizing. Because we don't have a leader, we are organizing. And we are organizing across the profession. Even today, if you saw, there were some students who are council legal education in the Kenya School of Law who occupy the council legal education today.
Yeah.
Even there were the Nandi, the county government of Nandi, it was occupied. So if it is not in Nairobi, it's either in other part of the country. So that's why I say this thing is organic, and we will occupy until Zakaya Shoke.
Okay, thank you so much for saying that. But my question to you is, because this is a movement and we are seeing how powerful this Gen Z movement is on the street. But the question is, how will we translate that power of the street to become a political influence? Because you mentioned of today, Nandi, I saw young men went to the governor and they wanted accountability and transparency. That is what the Gen Z are looking for. But remember, in the country, for any country, for you to succeed, at least it has to have that political power, in it. And by requiring political power, what are the measures and the strategies that you've put in place for us to keep on the momentum, to keep on going, so that as we put accountability on the government, or as we put accountability on the county government and every sector that we feel has not been doing well or have not been doing favor to Kenyan people, how are we going to translate that heat that we are putting and the pressure on the government to become a political influence or a political power, or so that it is a force to reckon with? Maybe Makubure.
Yes, this is a movement was just started the other day. People never went somewhere and then they sat down and then they said, let's form this group, let's go for revolution, let's plan for this. No, it came out of nowhere, and whatever brought people together were the common problems that the people of Kenya are facing today. So up to this point where we are, talking about a political party or this group of Gen Zs or young people forming a political party, that is one thing that we are not trying to get into up to as per now, because whenever we start this thing of political party, it's going to change the narrative, it's going to change the goal, and this is what we don't want. Because remember, we have clearly we've clearly given the demands that we want the government to meet. And if we don't focus on this, if you start now talking about political parties, people are going to. Some people are going to leave. Some people are not are going to off board and are not going to continue with this. Remember, the problem we are having is political parties, and if you start politicking now at this point, most of us are going to drop the call, because whenever we start appointing people, some of us will start saying, "Oh, these people is not really a good leader," whichever. We are not focusing on that now, but the truth of the matter is the young people have started identifying serious people who can lead. We are just trying to mark them, and we're trying to analyze them from head to toe to ensure that if maybe should we give them chance, they will carry the hopes, they will carry the cries of the people, and ensure that the rectification that people are yearning for are all taken in consideration. So, talking about political party up to this point, no. But the truth of the matter is the young people have started identifying a group of people that they believe can lead them. And if you're keenly following the meetings that have been called, the meeting points, I think you can be able to tell that this and this and this, or so and so, we've started seeing their behavior on how they're helping us in one way or another. But that should also show you that as far as Raila Amolo Odinga has been in opposition for quite some time, someone should not lie to them that this group of youths who are advocating for their lives, advocating for their rights, are also from his party or their political party of opposition. This is a parallel group of people. Actually, this is the third force. They should know that there is the ruling party, that is the KENYANS, led by the president. There's the opposition led by Raila Amolo Odinga with these followers. But again, there's the third force, which is the most now powerful. This is now the Gen Zs and the millennials and the youths and the people of Kenya who feel that their pleas are not being heard by the president. So the two, that is the ruling party and the opposition, led by Raila Amolo Odinga and the president, they have seen that the third force is coming strongly. And for that reason, they're trying to divide and rule. They're trying to come up with some measures to ensure that the youths are divided, that this third force that is coming is divided. But let's talk about this third force. Can you just imagine that there is no leader? This group of people are partyless, and they're this powerful. Can you imagine if maybe one or two people are given the mandate to lead? I'm telling you, this is a movement that is unstoppable. This is a movement that has a group of young people who are educated, has not just young people, but even the Mama Mboga and watu wa boda boda, who are promised that they were going to be given appointed in this government. All those people are in this movement. So this is a movement.
Makubura, yes. Let me, because do you know the reason why I'm asking you this? Yes. Because this is not the first group to happen or the first movement to happen in the world, yeah. But I'm just picking up similarity that happened between the yellow jacket, the France. What happened? And remember, the ones in France, what happened was not even the young people. The people who started the yellow jacket movement were the middle class. And you know, the middle class are like the core of a society, of a core of a government, yeah. But what happened along the way, yeah, the way you were talking, and they were in that middle class. There were people who were learned. There were lawyers. There were nurses. There were teachers. Every professional.
I get your point.
Listen, but in that middle class and all that knowledge they had, at some point, they did not actualize that dream. So my question to you is, what are the strategies that you're putting in place, one, to unify the unifying strategy that you have, so that this movement, you know, because one thing that also you have to bear in mind, my friend, don't think that the political class are also not sitting pretty. they are in calculation, because right now they're looking at 2027, and one of the strategies that you will agree with me that will be used against the majority of them, the Gen Z, majority of them do not have ID cards. Yeah. So what if we say the government is going to say, okay, we don't have a printer?
There's no problem. There is the number of youths who currently has the ID. They're the majority. I want to also tell you something. If we compare Kenya and France, first of all, we should know that the economy of France is far much ahead of the economy of Kenya. Another thing that we should know, I don't have the specifics, but that is the fact. Another thing that we should note is that in France, most people are employed, especially, and the number of youths there is not as many. If we compare the population of France, the number of youths to their population is not as much as the number of youths, the percentage of youths in Kenya to the Kenyan population.
Yeah.
And another thing you should know, Kenyan youths, they're about 70% of the total population. And remember, all these people, it's only 10% or 5% are employed, meaning almost 60% of youths, the remaining 60, I mean, out of that 70 or 65 are unemployed. Another thing that you should know, that this is Africa. This is not Europe or France or whichever place. These are people who have nothing to lose. Personally, I don't have any. As a youth, I own nothing serious in the Republic of Kenya. If you call me to go for Mandaman, I'm telling you I'll fully go. Because I know that I'm going to lose nothing. But I'm going with also one mind, that I'm fighting for my life so that I can also be able to own something. So that my child or any people around me can also own something. It can never be that only 5% of Kenyans are owning almost half of the Republic of Kenya at the expense of the poor people. That is what we are saying. Man, we are focused, very focused, and we are ready for anything. As far as we are concerned, allow me to finish. As far as we are concerned, we are ready for anything, and we have nothing to lose. All we are fighting for is our rights, the rights of people around us, the rights of the future of people of the Republic of Kenya. Nothing much, and it is an irreducible minimum.
Okay, thank you so much. And I'm coming to you, Miguda. This movement, as I've been drawing comparison between the France movement that happened in 2018 and what we saw, the Gen Z movement on the street, and we are just asking about their street power, and can it be translated to political power so that it has influence? And how, because I know there are so many broad conflicting goals that you have, that which have been laid to the government, that these are the goals that we want you to do, these are the demands, I might call them. So, how are you going, how is the movement going to be very realistic with the goals and find a way of adjusting them accordingly as time goes? Is there any way that one is going to happen, or they have to happen at once?
Okay, Brother Benson, I can see Makobura is very ready for Tuesday. But let me begin with leadership, then I'll come to your question. Yeah. So I'm saying when it comes to leadership, me personally, I believe from the time I was born, that a leader emerge. Me, I never believe in a leader who is being appointed. Someone is coming and pointing for you at this, your leader. No. Me, I believe that a leader emerges. And even in the Israelites community during their time, leaders emerge amongst them. There was no vacuum. So, like right now, we are trying to identify those leaders because this movement is still young. But you can even see during our assembly at Uhuru Park, we invited Okia Omtata. So you see, we are not only Gen Zs, but we are trying to go beyond Gen Zs, because we are even having some allies who are millennials. You see, the likes of Babu Owino, the likes of Gadoni Mamochomba. Those are our allies, not that everybody is our enemy. So we are trying to identify these leaders. And I know, even there are those people who purport to be our leaders on X, people like Osama Otero. But when we find out that they are sellouts, they were bought. We have rejected them, and that's how we are going to go. We will, at the end of the day, we will get to the bottom line. That person who cannot be a sellout, that person who have integrity, that is the one who will remain our leader. We are scrutinizing each and every person.
Okay. Now
So,
from there, wait. From there, you've talked about leadership, and that's why I'm asking you, what are the unifying strategies that you've put in place so that your leadership cannot be infiltrated, or the movement cannot be infiltrated by the political class or political or any other person, even amongst the Gen Z?
the movement cannot be infiltrated. But I'll just finish my point. Do not cut me time. So
Okay.
the movement cannot be infiltrated because, like I've said, if a strong leader emerge amongst you, even if a community produces a strong leader, there's no way. If you are a leader, you can't be compromised. This issue. Look at David Maraga, who was the emeritus Chief Justice. He was never compromised, so he emerges as a strong Supreme Court judge. So we want such a person in the movie. That's why I've said those people whom we have suspected that are sellout and purport to be our leaders, we have totally rejected them. So a leader will emerge with the principles of the movement. So going forward, unifying factor, things that are making us to be united. Number one, I want it to be very clear. We are not interested in the presidency. We don't want to be president. We don't want to be governor. We are not interested in those positions. What we are advocating for is good governance. Yeah, provided if you are in that position, we don't have a problem with William as a person. We have the problem with the presidency. So that if you are in that seat as the president, we want equality, we want equity, we want democracy, we want human rights, we want good governance, we want inclusivity. We are not interested in people, persons, at personality, at you want to capture power. No, we don't want to capture power here. We are simply saying that we do not want corrupt individuals. That's why we are saying kindly dissolve this government, kindly do this, because we are very clear from the word go that we are not interested in becoming president, because at the end of the day, we must have one president. So that's how clear we are, Brother Benson.
To add on that, the unifying factor that you're asking for. Remember, up to the last meeting that people had was on Sunday. But remember what happened yesterday? The president and the opposition leader, they came out and they gave a presser. We never sat down, or the youths never went or sat down somewhere to criticize that. The only thing that is uniting us is one. Whenever we see you trying to contradict what we believe, then that is what is going to unify us. Like the other day, Raila and Ruto, they were trying to conflict. They were trying to go against our demands. And we came out and we told them, no, you can continue that way, but remember, we are still focused. Those are the things which are unifying us. Whenever we see a group of politicians trying to make decisions on behalf of the people without consulting the people, when we see them trying to regroup so that they can try capture power, so that they can try start doing deals with the government and the opposition. Whenever we see them trying to regroup to appoint failed politicians, especially those with corrupt dealings or those that people had rejected, such kind of things shall unite us. And that is one thing that is uniting us. Anything that they are doing contrary to our expectation, that is a unifying factor to us.
Okay, thank you so much. We are still on the topic, and to see how the power that is on the street can be transformed or translated to a political power or a political influence. And let us weigh our thoughts on a comment or a statement that was made with one of the leaders that for the longest time in our time of history, we've always believed that he's a very sober and a very visionary leader. This was made by the MP for, is it Dadaab Far Malim, talking about the protests that happened, and something he mentioned that if he was the president, he could have killed all the protesters when they invaded the parliament. that is below the belt, I would call it. So I was not expecting that from that leader, based to the fact that he's a person that I've always listened to, especially ever since he became assistant deputy speaker during the time of Marende in the parliament. And he was reasoning well, you know, he was in Wipe Up, you know. I've always tried to listen to some of his shows whenever he's in major TV station. But the comments he made during that launch, what is your take, Makobura?
When I was in primary, most of my colleagues used to call me Otiato. When they called me Otiato, I never liked that name personally. Until when I got out of, until I now started understanding the reason why they used to call me Otiato. But then when I tried to look into the lifestyle and the behavior of this one person called Otiato, he was the Speaker of the 10th Parliament, Kenneth Otiato Marende. He was the best. He was the best speaker that Kenya has ever had in the Republic of Kenya, and he was deputized by one Farah Malim, a guy that I also followed keenly, a guy that I've always liked his politics. I was really shocked when he made such kind of utterance in the presence of the people, in the presence of religious leaders, in the presence of learned people. And to make it worse, with the position that he's ever held, and again, with the influence that he has, being a senior politician, and also being someone who has ever been appointed to be the deputy speaker, I think as a learned person, that wasn't really right. But again, we're human beings. Sometimes, whenever we get too close to power, we forget that we are representative of the people.
Mm-hmm.
We forget that we are answerable to the people. We forget that the people who appointed us or gave us the mandate to lead them are also human beings. We are all equal people. So the problem we have in Kenya is that the moment these people that we elect, we give them the mandate to represent us, they get to those offices and then they forget. They then start thinking, believing or saying, they start having this mentality that they are children of, that we the people, we are children of lesser God. And this is the mistake we are making as a country. This guy used to think maturely. He used to think as an educated person, he would give political comments in a positive manner, in a way that was unifying from when I used to follow him. But then once he started associating himself with the current government, the moment he started being close or supporting the UDA or the Kenya Kwanza government, his morals simply got out of hand, and we are seeing such kind of reckless comments. And as a people, we are saying, we gave them the mandate to lead us, but that does not give them any leeway, or that should not give them the mentality of trying to think that we are from lesser God. We are going to remind them that we are all equal, we have the same rights. As much as we've slightly elevated them or given them the position that they are currently holding, that doesn't make them any superhuman beings. And that is why I told you that this is Africa. And in Africa, we do things the African way. We are going to let them know that this is Africa and that we only fear God. We respect fellow human beings.
Okay, thank you very much. And you know, as you said, it tends to bother me so much, especially when you get closer to power. I don't know what power usually does to you. I don't know where it doesn't make you to think rightfully. And Miguda, maybe you also can weigh your thought on Farah Malim. Then we are going to look at, as President say, Hakuna Haja ya Kuleta Fujo, Tupatane 2027. We can focus for Azimio for the next minute and see if Azimio still intact, really. Are they doing their job as opposition, you know? And because we're seeing their leader is now with the president, you know, that is a fact. Be that maybe because the president is supporting his bid for a EU seat, so most of the members are kind of like taking a low profile. Maybe Makobura, Miguda, sorry, weigh on the Farah Maalim remarks, especially on the protesters, the Gen Z, who were protesting peacefully. That is something that we also have to mention when we are doing the show, especially when it comes to the protest that was done. It was very peaceful, you know.
Okay, on my remarks on Farah Maalim, first I would like to concur with Makobura because we are the people who used to call him Otiato. So Farah Maalim, I think he has no respect for the lives of the people because how can you masquerade as a leader who's sworn in to protect the lives of the people? Because by the time people are swearing in, they usually say that I will uphold, defend, and protect the Constitution. The very Constitution is very clear that that right to life must be protected. But as a leader who is elected by the very, very people, you are saying that they should be killed. No. Farah Maalim has abused his freedom of speech. Freedom of speech does not guarantee you to an extent of purporting to that you can take someone's life, you see. So the right authority in the country, national cohesion, should come in and he record a statement. And furthermore, he can even be given a warrant of arrest so that it can be an example to other leaders that these things like constitutionalism, the spirit of constitutionalism are not for granted. They must be respected, they must be defended, they must be upheld. So Farah Maalim should be liable for his remarks.
Okay,
So
thank you. Okay, all right, go ahead.
okay, I wanted to just begin with the function, the Azimio splitting. So I finished my point. Oh,
okay. Then let me before we come to Azimio, there's one thing that I want to make on Farah Maalim, and I will ask you a question on Azimio about Farah Maalim. I don't know whether he's aware that there are parents who are mourning right now. There are parents who are heartbroken right now, and he should see by himself that all the heroes that who are buried today, the Gen Z heroes, are buried with the Kenyan flag. It shows that one should tell him that they were fighting for their country. They were fighting for such like remark should not always be made. And I'm so much hungry when he said like somebody might have cut and like to play with the internet. He did not say such, but I don't think like these all media stations, all the media stations and the social media networks can just decide to report same thing. Like it's the same thing, and it's only who you basically being accused that you say that you are saying that somebody is working on it, maybe to politically to finish you. So I think he did not do well so much. And again, I want to thank all those who are watching. And if you're new here, kindly, there's a link. You can also join us in the studio and make your remarks. You can also share the video to your friends, and you can also be part of the big family by subscription. That is all we are requesting you, and we thank you so much for always supporting us. Thank you so much, and we will always say thank you. Now let's come to the Azimio. From what we saw yesterday during the presser, we did not see Martha Karua on the presser. We did not see Jeremiah Kioni on the presser. We also did not see Eugene Wamalwa. And remember, Eugene Wamalwa refused to even to put his signature on the report. Martha Karua, from the word go, she said no. And from the look of things, Jeremiah Kioni was not all there. From the look of things, it seems like this issue is only left with Kalonzo Musyoka and the Right Honorable Prime Minister Raila Odinga. Does it mean that Azimio is dead already?
From my observation, Azimio they've been having their own problems. I think some of them believe or think that the bigger parties within the Azimio are kind of bullying them, of which that might be a fact. ODM is a bully, that's a fact. Wiper is also a bully, that's a fact. And these other small parties are feeling bullied. They have that right to dissent or to give different opinion whenever they think or they feel so. We've not seen the party of the former president Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, led by Jeremiah Kioni.
Kanu was not there too.
Yeah, we've not seen the party of the aspirant, the deputy aspirant of Azimio, that is NAK Kenya. We've also not seen DAP Kenya, or what is it called? We've not seen them. So that's a clear indication that as much as some few Azimio leaders are trying to force the people of Kenya or the opposition party or leaders with certain amendments or way of working in the government, some of them are dissenting, some of them are not really okay with that. And that tells you that Azimio is maybe it's nearing its death, whatever. But once Raila gets out of Azimio, maybe there is this mentality that Kalonzo would pick over. So Kalonzo might just be hanging with Raila so that he believes he would get the support of Raila's followers. That might be the reason why he keeps on following Raila, whether Raila is going into fire, he gets with them. And that is what we've seen. You see, the other day, Raila gave a speech, and Raila was, in a way, trying to call for dialogue, of which we, the people of Kenya, we, the young youth of the Republic of Kenya, are saying no to it, because the issues that they want to get into negotiations with, the issues that they want to discuss are not really issues which are going to help, especially the young youth who are unemployed. It's not going to solve the issue of looting that we've been seeing, especially the public money and assets, which we've been seeing a group of politicians looting, and they're being taken to court. But since they're next to senior politicians, they're also close to some judicial officers, they are let free. We saw the other day that 80% or 90% of the executive, starting from the deputy president, come to the cabinet secretaries, most of them, they had court issues, court cases. Some of them had very grievous court cases, like killing. Some of them got into shoddy deals. They took a lot of money, 200 million. Once they got to power, they were given back this money, but they supplied nothing. So these are the things that we are saying as a youth. We are not happy with this kind of leadership. We are not happy with the group of leaders who are corrupt, and we are saying no to them. And we are bringing or reminding the people of Azimio. Their role is very much articulated. The constitution is clear of what they should be doing. They should be counter-checking to ensure that the government spending is per the wishes of the people. They are supposed to ensure that transparency is up to the highest level, but they're not doing that. They're now in bed with the government. So Azimio is no longer there. The people leading Azimio are Tumbocrats. If you read the book of Betrayal in the City, there was a guy there called Mr. Tumbo. So the likes of Raila and Kalonzo, they are becoming Mr. Tumbo. And we want to tell them this is not kafira. We know our rights. And we are going to deal with anyone who is trying or purporting not to follow what the youth is. That is
okay, 2027, the president has given you that, as said, Hakuna Haja, Tupatane 2027. If you're new here in this channel, kindly please, we are humbly requesting you to be part of the family by subscribing. Miguda, Makobura has really talked about there's the bill being dead, and it's also being said or being rumored that what is taking place is that the president wanted to form what we call the national of government, the national government of national unity, whereby after the dialogue of 150 people, what was going to happen? This is something that is on the street, that he was going to appoint members of opposition into his cabinets, even though the opposition, I know for sure, they will deny that. But the pressure that was put in place by the Gen Z made even the Right Honorable Prime Minister to retract his saying. And even if you look at what Martha Karua still insists, Martha Karua is one of those leaders in Kenya who insisted on leadership based on touching on the life of the people. That will change the life of the people. If anything she feels is going to benefit politician, she will always walk away. She has done it in the time of Moi. She has done it during Kibaki time, and still he protested. We call it this, like a silent protest on NADCO report, because she believed that it was not addressing the issues of the people. Do you share the same as Makobura, that Azimio is not existing?
I do share the same with Makobura, Azimio is not existing, but they're different perspective.
Yeah.
I would like to begin with your point that the national unity, which was being choreographed by the Odinga and Ruto, they wanted to cool the temperature. I want to tell them we are very sorry. It's not going to work because we are in a new era. And they have tested the coffee. They have smelled the coffee and they have tested the coffee. So they are not going to apply it. Okay, why am I saying that Azimio is dead? Not only Azimio is dead, but also Kenya Kwanza is dead. You know, in Kenya Kwanza, there is Gachagua factor and Ruto factor. They are pulling at each other. In Azimio, there is Eugene Kalonzo factor, there's Kioni Karua factor, and there's ODM factor. So they are both dead. And come 2027, we are going to have fresh coalitions or fresh political party. Why am I saying so? Without fear of contradiction. Since Section 2A was repealed and Kenya became a multi-party democracy, in 1997 elections, there was KANU versus Ford and Ford Asili. Come 2002, there was NAC and KANU. 2007, there was ODM and PNU. 2013, there was TNA URP, which was merged with Uhuru and Ruto versus CORD Alliance. 2017, there was NASA Alliance versus Jubilee. 2022, Azimio versus Kenya Kwanza. So it is very simple. You don't need to struggle to understand whether it's dead or not dead. The only thing that you can start to see is that people do jump from one point to another. Some people from Kenya Kwanza will go to Azimio, from Azimio will go to, they will be realigning. But the fact is remain that there is no Azimio, there's no Kenya Kwanza. It cannot happen. It is a culture in Kenya. It's historical in Kenya, very well recorded. These political parties are formally formed to capture power. Once you capture power, you form another one to capture power. If you fail to capture power, you form another one to try to capture power.
Okay, okay. Thank you so much for reminding us of that. And I concur with you. And I've always insisted about the political parties of Kenya. None of them has what we call the ideology. They are not being formed on ideology basis. One, it is formed on the revenge mission. If you look at all the political power, there must be a revenge or disagreement of the political parties, of the political party members who feel like their needs were not met. Then what do? They form these other political parties. They come to public for as they come as sympathizers, like how they've been like let's say like punctured and like they've been terrorized. You know how the URP was formed.
Some of them are formed on a tribal basis.
No, they are all tribal. By the way, if they have what we call personification and regionalism, that is what plays so much about this our tribe. They have to identify it for a particular region. And I tend to believe if Gen Z movement is going to put more pressure, the idea of regionalism, the idea of personification, and the idea of commercialization of politics is something that is going to come to an end. And that's why we feel like the Gen Z or the movement should be joined by so many people. So things to do with the regionalism of politics, things to do with personification of the politics, things to do with commercialization of politics, where money keeps on exchanging hands, especially if you're very influential in a community. those are some of the things that should come to an end. And I know we are almost winding up. It is our time. And what we want to say for the viewers who are out there, thank you so much for supporting us. And we appreciate you big time. We are here because of you. You can always share your comments with us where you feel we should improve. And before I wind the show, maybe Makobura, give us your last remark. Then Miguda will close it for us.
Okay. First, I want to remind those who are in leadership that they are subjects of the people. Can you clearly hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Yeah, I want to remind those in leadership that they are subjects of the people. The people have simply delegated the power to them. And if they're not going to consult the people, or if they're not going to lead as per the wishes of the people, if they're not going to respect the people shall get that power back. And the process has started. Symbolically, we've taken our power back from the members of parliament that we sent there, because we believe and we can see, and it is out there, anyone can see that they cannot perform. They are a group of people who are being managed by the president and the party leaders to make decisions which are bearing with their party leaders. And these are the things we are saying. We are a group of people of the Republic of Kenya with a dissenting view that we want the people of Kenya we want to get out of that yoke, this yoke of captivity, this yoke where a group of people are managing our lives, this yoke where a group of cartels are deciding for us. They come to consult from the people what the people want about the finance, and then once they get there, they sit down and say, we want it this way, this way, this way. They don't put in consideration the voice of the people. We have started the movement, and we are not going to tire. We are going to ensure, and we believe that we are going to get there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Makobura. Miguda, what do you say?
I want to finish very fast. The Gen Z movement is like a young man who has gone to hunt. Maybe he has gone to forest look for an elephant. When he got the elephant, the poverty ends. But when the elephant kills him, the poverty also ends. So either way, whether they kill us or whether we rush them away out of the power, we will get the good governance. And our politicians are like our same monkey. And our political parties are different forests. So same monkey, different forest. The struggle continues. Thank you.
Thank you so much, my friends. Asanteni sana mandugu zangu kwa kukuja katika kufanya kipindi na mimi. Sina la ziada ili kuwashukuru na kuwatakia kila laheri popote mlipo. Asanteni sana na Mungu akae nanyi. Na kwa wale ambao walikuwa wanatutazama pia, nachukua hii fursa hii kukukaribisha na pia kukusema asante kwa kukaa na sisi hadi tamati. Asanteni sana, Mungu awabariki.